Hello and welcome back to Alephium Team Talks. I'm joined today by Hongchao. If you don't know Hongchao, you really should. He's a lovely guy and he's also our core developer, one of our core developers, I should say. And he's been very busy building a lot of new stuff for Alephium. But today I want to get to know him a bit better and help you guys know really what he's been up to, what he's doing, and some of the processes that go into that. So let's start with a little introduction. Hongchao, could you tell me like where you're from, where you're based, and maybe your story of how you got into Web3?
Uh, yeah, of course. Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for this interview. Really glad to do this. So I'm from China, and for many years I've been living in Sweden, which is pretty much the opposite of side of the spectrum when it comes to like governance and how the society is structured, how people are thinking and behaving, the trust model in the society, and so on. So it's quite an interesting adventure. And I got to Web3 after I discovered Bitcoin, basically. And I got fascinated by it, just like many others. Um, so like I realized that for the first time, money can truly be like decentralized. It can be issued by uh, like not a trusted, like centralized trusted party. And just the implication of that in the society and economy, and also the technology, like it just fascinates me. And that's basically how I got into Web3. And personally, I really believe in alternatives. It's probably because of the fact that I live in a very like different places. I live in China before, and I live in Sweden now. I saw the virtue of like different systems, and I think crypto actually offers very good alternatives to the traditional monetary system and the financial world. And so, yeah, that's why I feel very I don't know, like very interested in the field. And also, like over the years, as I learn more about it, it sort of, probably just like many others, it sort of serves as a forcing function for me to learn many other things that I probably wouldn't have the chance to dive much more into. For example, like a finance, like a governance or economics, philosophy, all these kind of stuff. I probably wouldn't have like dive a little bit more into if it wasn't for Web3. So I felt very lucky when Chen asked me to join the team to work on crypto full time, basically.
Oh, that's awesome, Hong Chao. Yeah, nice to know some of that background. And I agree, like Web3 does open your mind to all of these different fields and ideas and perspectives. And a lot of people don't agree on stuff. Now, I'm curious, what is it actually like to be a core developer on an L1 blockchain, right? What are some of your primary responsibilities, let's say?
Yeah, great question. The L1 blockchain is actually, if you think about it, a pretty big beast. It has a lot of components to it. For example, we have like the P2P layer, we have the virtual machine, we have the language, and since we are a POW chain, we support mining, all this stuff, and we basically built everything from scratch, and we have a lot of good innovation built in. For example, we have sharding, which is not a very easy thing to build. If you look at the Ethereum, it takes them many years, and still they don't have sharding operational on the mainnet, right? So there are a lot of stuff uh, in layer one blockchain, and uh, yeah, we are responsible for building the full node, which is basically the software that people use to run the layer one blockchain, like as a network. But on top of that, a layer one, you wouldn't be successful if it doesn't have developers. So we want to provide a good developer experience for the developers. So to that end, we need to have a good SDK, for example. We need to have, for example, good wallets. Like extension wallet is something that we that is more for developers. Basically, it's more developer friendly. So we built extension wallet. And initially, we actually don't have any users and developers, so we try to, use. So we just try to, eat our own dog food. We try to develop the first version of the DEX and the NFT marketplace, and all these SDK. And along the way, we try to write the SDK, try to make it as friendly as we can imagine, basically, because when we develop, we need to use the SDK, right? And also, we need to use a wallet to do signing and so on. So along the way, we built the extension wallet. So we basically, and also we improved the language quite a lot during the process while developing DEX NFT, and also the bridge actually, because bridge, the smart contracts on bridge is actually at the time the most complicated the contracts written in rough, which is the language that we have. So along the way, we've been improving the language, we've been improving the VM, we've been improving the developer SDK, we've been improving the extension wallet to make it a very good experience, basically for developers. And also, like, so we've been talking about the L1, the full node. We've been talking about the developer experience. We were also responsible for infrastructure. For example, like running the full nodes, or Explorer backend, the indexer in the cloud or in the bare metals. Basically, like just in any web services, we need to run those things somewhere, right, in the cloud. And this might sound a little bit boring, but it's important to provide a good experience for the users of the wallet, of the chain, of the dApp, all the things they interact with the full node, the node service, the Explorer backend service, and so on. We also run some other services, like the bridge. We need to run it somewhere as well, right? So yeah, so I'm also responsible for the infrastructure. Yeah, that's pretty much what I can think of right now. Maybe I missed something, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's great. No, you covered a lot there. I think it's safe to say for any blockchain, or almost any blockchain, the first version is very rarely the best version, right? They are iterative improvements along the way. But we can say that phase one over the last few years has put Alephium in a pretty strong infrastructural position, right? The infrastructure layer is robust, live, battle tested, and secure. So that's really good. And now what everybody knows is you're working on the core DApp, right? Now I can't imagine that that's an easy process for you. Perhaps you could tell me a couple of like big technical challenges that you're having at the moment while building or developing the core DApp.
Yeah, so basically we have several people working on the core app, and there are several components to it. Obviously, the most challenging part is to make the because we're building a CLM and DEX, which is the concentrated liquidity market maker variants of DEX. It turns out that this is actually pretty complicated to build. The tick math, a lot of the intricacy of the smart contract is pretty difficult to even wrap your mind around, let alone to sort of write a pretty secure version of it, like a production ready and so on. So that's definitely the most challenging part, and we have a good colleague. Yeah, spend a lot of time like basically writing it. His name is Paolo, and we've been like working on it together, like because it requires not only the smart contract but also we also need to provide a good user experience for it, which means that the backend needs to be efficient, performance. The front end needs to be kind of yeah, user friendly, and also we want to provide like a good SDK for it. so that other basically increase the composability across different depths, so other depths can integrate with this DEX more easily, basically, and all the stuff will be open source. So hopefully this will be, yeah, the a piece of infrastructure that would increase the composability quite a bit. So if you ask me like what's the most challenging part, I would say to get the smart contracts right and production ready, and that's pretty challenging. And yeah, I think this is the first time it's done in rough, basically. Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool. I know there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. You guys are very dedicated to getting this launched. So good luck on that front. And the outcome, I'm sure, will be a better DevX experience, or better DevX, more simplified, tools and basically all-round improvements for developers. Now, I want to talk about another type of infrastructure that you mentioned before, is the bridge, right? So a bridge is really crucial infrastructure for any L1 really, unless that L1 wants to be isolated from everyone else. Not many chains really want that, I think. Could you explain from your perspective what is the importance of the Alephium bridge for the entire ecosystem, and also like when you were building it or forking it and redesigning it, what kind of like security measures or design principles did you prioritize?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just as you said, yeah, basically without a bridge, a lithium ecosystem would be like isolated islands, and with the bridge, it enables us to interconnect with other ecosystems, chains, and so on. And this is especially important when we are small and other systems, ecosystems are larger. So we can hopefully get some of the liquidities from them and users from them. So that's very important for us. And when it comes to security of the bridge, it's actually I mean, security is actually a pretty complicated topic and it has many layers to it. And I don't know if you remember, but like 1 2 years ago, there's so many like bridge hacks. Like you hear about like tens of millions of dollars being hacked and stolen, and this story seems to have happened once every one month or 2 months or something like that. It was pretty often at the time. So we've been taking like security extremely seriously. So I think there's like a couple of measures. One, we basically investigated many code base for the bridges because many of them are open source. When we get started, we basically picked code base, which is like wormhole, that we believe are you know more battle tested and in our opinion with the highest code quality, and we basically built our bridge on top of that. So that's number one. And when it comes to the actual implementation, the bridge essentially has a couple of moving parts. So it has the core part, which basically relays the messages from different blockchain and sign the messages. And on each of the chain, there will be like smart contracts written in their respective language. So they will be their goal is to basically like receive the message, emit the message, and do the verification and all that, so that for example, you send some coin on one chain, it locks it, the other chain can basically trust this message and release certain amount of coin on the other side, right? So this kind of a smart contract is actually pretty complicated, and it has a pretty high requirement to security as well. As I mentioned before, this bridge smart contracts on the Alephium side, when we built the bridge, is at the time was probably the most complicated smart contracts that we wrote in rough. Um, but when we started to write it, we realized that the advantage of having a concise language with a lot of security features built in really helps. For example, because for each of the chain you have uh, smart contracts implementing pretty much the same logic, so you can really like compare how the code looks like because their functionality is pretty much the same. And we see that our code written in rough is probably like 10% of like what's written in Solidity, for example, and even less than what's written in Solana. So like just the amount of code is much lower, probably even the orders of magnitude lower compared to other chains. That which means that we will have like less things to worry about, right? So it's which is pretty good for security. And also we have like a lot of built-in security features in the language. And the fact that we have like a UTXO model means that we always have this UTXO invariance, which means that the amount of assets that comes into the transaction will always be the same as the amount of assets going out of the transaction, and that kind of environment is actually pretty important to build secure like dApps. And we also have an asset permission system and external call checks and all these features built into the language, so it makes it pretty secure to actually write smart contracts compared to, for example, Solidity. So basically, from the VM and from the language perspective, uh, I think it helps a lot when it comes to security. So that's another layer. And then we have a third layer, which is the infrastructure, because a lot of the bridge hacks it's not actually, it's not even at the level of the smart contract or the layer one itself. It's actually on how you manage the keys and how probably like yeah the human problem. For example, uh, if you have like a couple of keys and you manage by the same team member, even though like on the surface you are doing multi-sig and so on, but in reality, if someone hack your computer, they can steal all the keys, right? And also like in many cases, uh, these kind of breach hacks are caused by key leakage and so on. So we basically made a decision that we will actually use, we basically design the system in such a way that even we want to see the key, we can't. So even if we want, even if someone hacked into the system and they won't see any keys. So which means that we will not see the keys, and the hacker will not see the keys, which we feel is much more secure. And also when we sort of do the software upgrades, because sometimes you need to upgrade the software for the bridge, right? Every upgrade we will require 2FA. Like if you apply some changes, someone will have to do the 2FA for it. So there are many like details, small details that we considered when it comes to infrastructure to basically secure the bridge, because this is as important as the smart contract security. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that I can think of. But yeah, it's we basically security is basically on top of our minds when building the bridge. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Hongchao. Actually, that was such a good answer that you've already answered my next question. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
really?
skip right on to my final question. Oh, sorry, that was fantastic, by the way. I've read quite a bit about some of these bridge hacks, like Ronin and Nomad, and it's different errors cause different exploits. It's down to miscommunications, smart contract bridge contract issues. Also, a lot of blockchains have a different concept of finality, right? So if two blockchains bridge between each other and they don't agree on what finality means, it creates a exploit opportunity for hackers. I think that might be what happened with Ronin. I can't fully remember, but yeah, it is a big issue that has to be solved. So if our bridge is safe and secure now, that's good. But every bridge is safe and secure until something bad happens, right? So I know it's a constant cat and mouse game between security first approach and hackers trying to break it. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Now, what is going to happen next? That's my final question. What are you working on next on the roadmap? I mean, obviously the core DApp, but perhaps you could go one layer deeper. What in particular in the core DApp are you focused on right now?
Uh, we've been so yes, you're right. The next thing is definitely core app and the native staking and so on. Um, we've been focusing on basically just get everything on testnet right now. We can run it locally. Most of the core features are there, but there are definitely a lot of rough edges and stuff that we can improve. So we want to sort of get something up and running, and so that we can iterate much faster. So that's basically what we are focusing right now. Uh, what what's next? I think is what sort of excites me is a lot of the possibility or opportunities that native staking that can enable us to do. For example, uh, we can reduce the block time even further because right now uh, we can't do like sub-seconds block time with proof of work. It's like a limiting factor for us. But after we have implemented the native staking, we can explore the sub-seconds block time, and that would in turn enables a lot of other the possibility of building other uh, like dApps, for example, like because a lot of dApps requires a lot faster block time. So there's some interconnection between those things, basically.
That's cool. That is exciting. So any devs who are watching, the future on Alephium is very exciting. Could be faster than ever. But first, let's focus on the mission ahead that we have right now, which is to get the core app and the staking launched for our wonderful community to explore and enjoy. Uh, on that note, I want to say thank you very much, Hongchao, for your time. It's interesting to learn more about what you do and what goes into being a core dev here at Alephium. Um, Thank you again, and I hope to see you again very soon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
thank you very
final
much,
word?
Pepper. No, I think it's pretty much it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Pepper. Thanks a lot.
The feeling's mutual. Thank you.